Well, the funding for that job was always through to March 2015. I thought at the time that there was going to be money available through British Diving for me to jump in and become full-time with them. It's become apparent just recently that that's probably not going to be the case. In fact, it's definitely not going to be the case. And at the same time, I've had this opportunity from Canada, which is very exciting, but ultimately wasn't what I expected at this stage in the 4-year cycle.
So, obviously this option from Canada, tell us a bit about why, I guess, are you a bit apprehensive to go to Canada? You have some fantastic athletes here in Plymouth. You've got Tonya at Couch and Sarah Barrow, who are obviously at second in the Commonwealth and doing very well in the World Series. Underneath that you have a couple of other great divers in Victoria Vincent and Matthew Dixon, who were at the Commonwealth Games and are looking like they're going to bubble along. How difficult a decision would it be to leave Plymouth?
I always thought I was going to be here till Rio. That was always my long-term plan. I turned down a job actually in the US earlier on this year where they were trying to get me over there based on the fact that I wasn't done yet with Tonya and Sarah, hopefully in Rio, with the youngsters that are coming through that will be vying for places there also, that we've seen at the Commonwealth Games this time, as you said. So I very much thought that I was through here until at least Rio, and then obviously it depends on funding. The UK sport can be very cut with an axe if things don't go right, so hopefully for British Diving it would do, and then who knows. But the world is my oyster, I guess, and at the moment Canada is coming up trumps.
With regards to British Diving, is there anything British Diving could do to stop you from going to Canada?
Well, I was under the impression, as I said, that the funding would be made available in March 2015. They're now saying that although the discussions happened, there was nothing actually finally decided, and that their budget is now being used in various different ways, which would make it very challenging for them to find extra monies at this stage within the cycle. So they don't seem particularly interested in retaining me, whereas Canada have been offering me all sorts and trying to put together a package that's very enticing and bending over backwards, if you like, to try and get me out there. So the scales, if you like, are tipped very much in favour of Canada at the minute, but I always promised myself that I would do the Plymouth thing at least until Rio, and I do feel badly that I'm letting the girls down to a large extent.
Some people looking at this might say, is he just making, going to the media and all these sorts of things to try and, get British Diving's backs up and to try and get a better job, so to speak? Do you know where I'm coming from with that sort of question?
Absolutely. I have absolutely no wish to start slinging mud. Obviously it'd be very easy for me to make comments. It'd be very easy for them to make comments back, and we'd just end up in a media frenzy that I think would not be productive at all. I don't really want to go down that path whatsoever. I'm really just making my position plain, and that is that I thought I was here till Rio. The funding for me to do that is not currently in place, and Canada offered me a fantastic opportunity.
This place has kind of been built around your name to a certain degree. You look at the divers that have come through in the past, even if we start with Sally Freeman and we go on to Tom and Tonya and Brooke and Sarah Barrow and people like that. And we've talked about the next generation that are coming through and youngsters who are coming down from other parts of the country to come to Plymouth to dive here. Partly, if not wholly, down to the kind of the Andy Banks thing and how you've coached people and taken them through. A lot of people look at that might have a real concern over the future of Plymouth diving if you weren't here.
Exactly what's going to happen with Plymouth if I do decide to take the Canada offer, I'm not sure. We have had very brief discussions with diving management about where it will go. Obviously Mark Holdsworth is already here as part of British Diving to help me out, and I know he's keen to do whatever he can do to help both Tonya and Sarah and also some of the youngsters that are coming through within the rest of our squad. Exactly what else would happen, I have no idea. That is something that does need to be looked at, but British Swimming have also said that they'll do what they can to make sure that is dealt with professionally.
If you do go to Canada, and this time next year you're in this new pool in Toronto and you're the head of their elite diving program, how will you feel come Rio 2016 and you see Tom Daley and you see Tonya Couch and you see Sarah Barrow and you're against them?
Well, I've always explained to the guys here particularly that even if I do have to go, I will be in touch by email, by FaceTime, by Skype, by whatever means are necessary, to talk to Mark, who will be taking on a lead role with coaching them, to talk to them if they've got any issues, and to be still really a little bit of a part of that team. I'm certainly not just going to turn my back and walk away. That's not what I do. It's an exciting opportunity in Canada, and if that comes about, I'll jump in with that 110% as I do with everything. but I will be watching very, very closely with Tonya, Sarah and the rest of them, and the rest of the British team, to be honest, because I still feel that I'm very much a part of that too.
Did Tom Daley moving to London weaken your position in a sense? Because he is so big in diving, both sportingly and also kind of commercially, that if you'd have been Tom Daley's coach considering a move abroad, perhaps things would have been different.
That's an if question, and if questions are always really difficult to answer because I have absolutely no idea. If it was this, then this could happen. If it was that, then what else would happen? Ultimately, British diving have to have a budget. They have to make decisions about how they play that budget and how they use it and spend it. They've got things in place that they currently want to retain and that they want to keep, and as they've said, it would be challenging to change that. I thought that I was part of that picture, but it's apparent now that I'm not within that scenario. And at the same time, Canada have come in all guns blazing with a very nice offer. So it's still undecided. I'm going to go out to Canada. I'm going to speak to them more specifically. And obviously, it's hit the public domain now. So I'm speaking to the media now, just so that people are aware of the position I'm in. It's not to try and change it particularly. I'm very much aware of what British diving needs to do. They need to make those decisions themselves.